And we are back, and we just finished watching Prey from 2022, rated R with runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes. This is currently on Hulu. Is it in the theaters? I don't
think it was in the theater. I think it was direct to Hulu.
It was a Hulu original.
Yeah.
Yes. Original film, August 5th, only on Hulu. What a damn treat.
Yeah, this was great.
Wow. I mean, if you have a pulse, I'm sure you've heard nothing but good things about this movie. I myself didn't expect to like this because sometimes I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I mean, I obviously loved the original Predator.
Yeah.
And
it's a classic.
It's a classic, absolutely. And I mean, I figured this might be good, although previous Predator movies have been dicey.
I gotta say, it's always disheartening when you see the franchises you loved as
cash grabs.
A young person,
yeah.
Especially us, Terminator, Aliens, Predator.
Yeah.
And when they bring them back,
and they
just
shit the bed.
They just shit the bed. They're not any good. They're cash grabs. There's no care put in them.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when there is care put in them, it's just like they do something that like either pisses off the old fans or just doesn't do anything to attract new ones.
Yeah, yeah. This was
great.
This was great. This was not the case with this movie. Thank you, Dan Trachtenberg, who directed and was one of the writers on this. Patrick Aison and Dan Trachtenberg from characters by Jim Thompson. This was, wow, so good. So good from start to finish. And thank you so much for putting in that line that I love so much. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yes.
Oh.
A little homage to Dutch.
Yeah. I like... Did you hear me when we were watching it? I was like, yes. It was nice that I like when movies do that, when they do the homage. Like, remember when Fright Night, the newer Fright Night, and they had Chris Sarandon in it?
Yeah.
I love when they do like homages or nods to the original. So that was pleasant. That was a great treat for me, at least. I don't know if these youngins know.
Yeah, I mean, our kids were watching it with us. They had no idea why.
We really got to watch.
There.
Yeah, we really got to watch the other one with them. Force them to. So this is set in 1719. I think it said.
Like olden times.
Olden days.
Pioneer days when there were like French fur trappers all over the place.
Yes.
Comanches and untamed wilderness.
Beautiful landscape.
Yeah.
This is besides being a really good story, just beautiful cinematography, beautiful sets. I mean, well, not even sets, but just the landscape.
I loved like the shots, the establishing shots, the mist coming off the fields and the wildlife. Really gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Beautifully done.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean, what would you tag this movie as? Like an action piece, right?
There's action,
little drama with her.
Drama, little horror, little bit of a thriller.
Yeah.
It has a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, Naru, that was the main character. She's
Amber.
Great. She's absolutely excellent in this movie.
Freaking fantastic.
The film rests on her shoulders, and she carries it.
She knocked it out of the park. She was amazing.
Everybody was good.
Everybody was good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tabe. I looked at you. How do you pronounce it? Played by Dakota Beavers. He plays Naru's brother, Amber Midthunder as Naru. Just fantastic.
And
the
don't
dog.
Forget
the dog.
That is an awesome dog.
My daughter actually had the nerve to say, "Oh, the dog will get killed." I was like, "Hush, hush, hush, little girl." And we won't say.
Yeah, we won't give any spoilers away because this is something that you should see.
You should absolutely see
it. Don't let anybody spoil this for you. It's really good.
It's really good.
If you're familiar with the Predator franchise, you know what it's about. It's the alien hunter comes to Earth and he's hunting. He wants sport, and it does that, but it's not. It's never really about the Predator. It's about the characters in the movie and the journey that they go on, and Naru has an excellent journey.
Oh, amazing.
Excellent journey.
Amazing. Yes, yes. I also want to say that I didn't see the second Predator, the one with Danny Glover.
Yeah.
But I did see Alien versus Predator, which is just garbage. And I can't believe there was a sequel to that.
Yeah, a lot of running around, people getting killed, slow motion aliens bursting out of people's faces.
And obviously a cash grab because you have this built-in fan base.
I mean, everybody wanted to see it from the moment they saw the alien skull in the trophy case in one of the previous movies. It was either Predator or Predator 2.
Yeah.
And it's something that everybody has wanted to see, and you got it. And
it wasn't good.
It was kind of stupid. It was Paul W.S. Anderson. He's not really making
award-winning stories.
Yeah, great journeys of characters or deep characters. Everything's very broad, and people are mainly there just to get killed and explosions. He's sort of almost like a poor man's Michael Bay.
Yes, that's a very good analogy.
But more horror oriented because he's also responsible for those
Resident Evil
movies. Yeah. Is he also responsible for the Underworld franchise?
You know what? I don't know. No, I think that was what's her name's husband at the time.
Who's
Kate Beckinsale. I think she was married to the guy that was doing those movies.
And it wasn't Paul W.S. Anderson?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I think, it's Len something.
Yes, Len Weissman. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, it's not Paul W. Because I think Paul W. is with Mila Jovovich.
Okay.
I mean, she's in a lot of those movies.
Yeah, I mean, she's in all those Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many of those there are.
Oh, God.
And the funny thing,
I can't believe they're rebooting that as a show, right, on Prime?
I think it's
or
Netflix.
Something.
They've made a new movie that I'm pretty sure is on Netflix, and I believe they're doing a show.
Ridiculous.
But Resident Evil's kind of a mess as far as what it actually is, and
there's no continuity.
I think when they make the movies, they just take little bits and pieces of it and what they like, and then they change it to their will. And the thing that was always confusing about those is they were never numbered.
No.
So I didn't know which film came when, and they would just show them randomly on cable, and I would catch them. And it's not like as though you could tell by who's in the movie what frame you're in.
Well, I don't think it mattered
because I don't think any of the films really relied that too heavily on continuity.
No,
just,
not at all.
Okay, now the bad guy's the president. Okay.
Well, I mean, not to get further out in a tangent, but the reason I brought that up was because Prey is absolutely a good sequel or a new
I would say installment to
the Predator franchise. Yeah, this is a worthy sequel. This was wow.
This is really good.
And it's not, I mean, I agree with you. There are shades of horror in here, but it's not gratuitous. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, there are bloody bits.
Yeah.
Some animals are killed. There's one scene where the reason why you could see the Predator is because he's bathing in blood. Yeah, so there are some gory bits. I don't know if this is for little kids.
No,
our 10-year-old watched it. She was completely
fine,
but she's acclimatized to that sort of.
Well, it depends. She couldn't sit through Drag Me to Hell, but this was
that's different. That has more of those suspenseful than jump scares. This didn't really have any jump scares.
No, not at all.
This was very well done. It was you knew the Predator was coming.
Yeah,
because it's got all the creepy noise.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
then you'd see him.
You'd see him in the back, or you'd see the person behind her just suddenly get taken out. Or,
yeah.
Or you'd see the classic 3 laser pointers pointing at people.
Yes.
And the Predator has all the crazy weapons. He had some nice gear. And I love that shield.
Yes, that shield was so cool. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because we talked about it briefly, I think, before. So the Predator in 87 Predator is aesthetically different than this Predator, and there's something more.
There are similarities. But it's definitely you see it's more. He's more his head's more covered up in that one.
Yeah.
In the old one. In this one, more of his face is exposed. Like you always see those little mouth finger things.
Oh, okay.
And he's not wearing that like sort of like fishnet body suit that he wore, and the weapons that he has aren't like shoulder mounted cannons or anything.
Right. This is not prehistoric, but it's definitely, you can tell it's a different timeline.
I mean, he has like a projectile weapon, but he is definitely more of a hands-on guy.
Yeah, and he definitely is more about like hand-to-hand combat. I felt like
there was that scene where he's going through and he's like physically accosting people when he like, I guess in the previous ones it would be more about being blown up from a distance.
Right.
It's just, I mean, the Predator looks
freaking cool. Yeah,
really
cool job.
And like, because you've seen Predator movies, so they don't really hide much. I mean, he's invisible for most of it, but you could still see it. It's that Predator camouflage that he has, that light refracting thing. But when you do see him, he looks amazing. He looks so damn good. Even when like the mask comes off, they did some changes to the face, like the anatomy of the face. Of the Predator, but it's excellent. The coloring on it,
gorgeous.
The texture of its skin. Everything looks fantastic.
Gorgeous.
The musculature, they definitely like toned it down. Like the previous Predators, you could see it was like a big tall guy, but he was wearing a complete rubber suit. This looked more like obviously there was the hand prosthetics for the claws and the big face, but this was probably just some like jacked up dude who was like really strong and tall and lean. He looked great. Perfect. If you're gonna change something, like a classic design of one of these creatures that we all know and love, this is how you do it. They paid absolute homage to the original design, and they updated it and just made it fantastic. This is like what you'd expect. Okay, if they had the ability to do it back in the 80s, this is what the guy would have freaking looked like.
Yeah. And to that point, I just looked him up on IMDb. The actor who plays the Predator is Dan Trachtenberg. He was a 4-year starter for the NCAA Division I University of New Hampshire Wildcats basketball team. So he's an athlete.
He's a tall dude. Yeah. I'm not surprised that it's a former basketball player.
He's ginormous. It's funny, there's a picture of him with the other actors, and he's
like a head over everybody.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, the movements of this thing, everything was very natural. Perfectly done.
Yeah. And I like that. And I mean, I'm sure there's CG in this, but it doesn't, it's not overpowering. Everything, most of it is practical stuff or just in the real world filming. And it's funny because in the beginning of this film, it's very slow. And it's kind of quiet.
It builds up. I wouldn't say slow because they reveal the Predator pretty quickly.
True.
But it's not like as though he's attacking people
immediately.
He's not. In fact, in the beginning, I don't think he kills anybody for quite a while. He's mainly just hunting animals like wolves and bears and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not until later in the film when there's actual confrontation between the Predator and human beings where like things like really take off. So yeah, I guess you could say that's kind of a slow build, but it's not like as though that you're twiddling your thumbs or just like staring around.
No.
Everything is made to build up Naru's character, tell you her story, get you rooting for her, showing you that she is this like really capable young woman. But don't go thinking that, I know there's a big, Mary Sue's bullshit. She is not a Mary Sue. She struggles in everything.
Single way, yeah.
She earns everything. That's really good about the story. You're on this journey with this girl, and she wants this aspect of her life. She wants to be recognized for something that's not typical of the women in her village, and she earns it. She earns it 100%. And by the end of the film, you're like, you're happy. You were really rooting for this girl the entire time.
Yeah, it was a struggle to get there. And the funny thing is, she's obviously a capable fighter, but I think the thing that propels her to success is that she is very smart.
Yes, she's not just, she knows she's not going to brute force her way through anything.
Right.
So she uses her head.
Yeah.
And she's very clever.
Yeah. One of the, obviously Tabe saying, if it bleeds, we can kill it, is like my favorite line in this film. But an exchange between Naru and her mother where the mother's like, she's like talking to her about hunting and this like almost obsession with it. And Naru basically says to her, I want to because you all think I can't do it.
Yeah.
Which I think was it definitely encapsulated that character. Like if you had to describe her in one sentence, she's the kind of person that wants to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And she's stubborn.
Oh,
I mean, she even goes against the guys in her own tribe.
Yeah, exactly. The entire film is various instances of everybody going to go home now or go home. Yeah.
And she doesn't.
And she doesn't. She's like, no, I got to do this. And she's kind of wins
the argument.
Some of these people over to her side. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but
right.
They could see that, okay, she is not just out there to be picking herbs and stuff like that. This is somebody who's clearly capable. She's an excellent tracker. Her brother says that about her.
Right.
Her brother, he's protective of her, but you could see that he realizes that she has
the
skill.
Capacity.
She has the capacity, and he is actually willing
to work with her,
to help her. And that was like another great scene was when they were like sort of like crouching behind that, like in a blind somewhere, and basically he looks at her and he's like, this is your, I forgot the word they used, but it basically meant your trial, or the trial that you must go through, that we all went through.
Right. To prove
yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, this is it. And that's what she really wanted. You know, she's like, when do I get to do this? When do I get to do this? And it was just sort of like right in that moment, he was just like, this is it.
Yeah.
And that was like, you could see the look on her face when that.
Yeah.
It was almost like, yes, this is the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, absolutely
well done.
Everybody loved the relationships between the characters.
Yes, especially the brother and the sister. Beautiful.
I mean, that's really the main relationship, because the rest of the people in the village don't really speak much. They're very minor characters, but the other Comanches dealing with her is so good, and you really care for them.
Like, who would think to do a Predator story in 1719 in a Comanche? Or I don't know if they call it reservation, but like
encampment. This is before that.
Yeah,
this is before there were any reservations.
Yeah, so like encampment, whatever, like village.
Yeah, this is like during. This is before the.
This is even before the Civil War.
This is before America existed.
Yeah, but it's just amazing, right? I mean,
excellent.
Do
story,
this with
perfect
everything.
Setting. Yeah,
do this with everything.
Really
I think I saw that on Twitter.
And
somebody was like, "Bring it on!" Just.
Yeah, and like
I
said,
Final Destination on a pirate ship.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not really about the Predator. It's about the characters.
The hero's journey.
Exactly. I mean, this could have just been a movie about a girl hunting a bear.
Yeah.
And it kind of almost was that.
Yeah.
Except, oh, wait a minute. That's not a bear. You know?
Yeah.
Bears don't walk so long on their hind legs. Yeah. And she's picking all this stuff up that nobody else is getting. She's like, look at this track. And they're like, it's a bear. And she's like, no, look at the size of this damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's on its hind legs and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Well, she was, and again, it's funny, we're having this conversation, or at least I was having this conversation with G about how in 1719, women's roles, even in Comanche villages,
yeah, everybody had their
gendered
place.
and stereotypical.
Generally women were the gatherers,
right,
and the men were the hunters,
right,
or women foraged and men hunted, and you didn't really see that.
But with her, she was like pretty well rounded. I mean, she knew like the medicinal stuff, I guess, from the mother, like what herbs to use and stuff. But she also was like, there's that scene where she is with her axe kind of practicing.
Yeah.
And she is like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell, and that was like another thing that like builds the character. It's like she's just doing this in the woods by herself.
Right.
Because this is what she wants to do.
Right.
And that's why she's good at it.
Right. Right.
And she makes it even better. She attaches that
rope to make it come back to her. Yeah.
She's like Scorpion.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And so do you want to give numbers? I mean, there's a couple of things that I kind of wanted to go over. I don't know if it's spoilery.
Okay. So yeah, let's give numbers.
So I am going to give this movie... I was going to say a 9, but I'm at that point where I'm like, well, what could have made this better? And nothing could have made this better. This is like excellent execution on all fronts. The actors in it were phenomenal, especially Amber Midthunder. I hope to see her in a lot more stuff going forward. I hope that she's getting a lot of knocks on her doors and calls to her agent, because she was mesmerizing. Every scene that she's in, you're heavily invested, whether she's in peril, whether she's having a heart-to-heart with her mother, whether she's coming home at the end of the day. It's just, the screen is filled with her and you're rooting for her.
Yeah,
absolutely. From the first frame. And I liked how in the beginning it's black screen and she's talking and then you see something.
Yeah.
So I think that also, I really liked being introduced to her voice first. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I think that this movie touches on a lot of different genres. I think there's definitely an element of horror. There's definitely action. There's a little dramatics in here with the relationships. I feel like this deserves a 10.
I never give anything a 10, so I'm going to give this like a 9.5.
I feel like I'm going to go with a 10, because what could have made this better? Nothing. It, as storytelling, it was great. The script is good. I mean, it's not Shakespearean in any sense of the word, but it tells a compelling story and really builds this world, and you understand it, you know it. You're rooting for all the characters and their well-being. And when bad stuff happens to somebody you like you feel it. So I think that when you elicit something like that with fictional characters, you're so far ahead of the game. It's amazing to me. So hats off to Dan Trachtenberg. I want to see more of you. Please make more movies. Hollywood, give him money. Let him do whatever he wants. I think he's proven himself. 10 Cloverfield Lane was a great film. I'm not a big fan of the actress, but I sat during that whole storytelling experience and I was mesmerized from beginning to end. I was heavily invested in that character. I wanted her to pull through. And same thing here. I like that it's a strong feminine character that, I mean, she takes her licks too. She gets knocked out. She gets captured.
Yeah.
She gets that awful cut on her leg. My God. I mean, it's amazing that people lived past their 20s, right?
Yeah. Back then, not many.
Yeah.
If you were 30, you were a senior.
Yeah. But
I mean, if you like actually looked at the ages of the guys who signed the Constitution, you're just like, they're all in their 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
We saw these pictures of these guys with these gray wigs.
And we're thinking they're like in their 40s or 50s, but no.
Yeah, they're all like...
And just everything came together. The costuming on this was magnifique. I loved everything. It just felt very authentic. I loved that they used native actors. Yeah. Amazing. More of that, please. There's so many stories to be told. And I love that, like, you know, we grew up with this stuff. We saw 87 Predator in the theaters, and we've spoken about this before, how every Schwarzenegger movie back in the 80s was like an event. You couldn't wait to go see it.
Yeah.
And that was no different. I mean, I remember going to see that in the theater and just being completely entertained, loving it, and just it's funny because it feels like, I mean, not that action movies now aren't great, but it's funny, the nostalgia for that time and those types of movies where there really wasn't a care about political correctness or things like that. And some things could be problematic in this day and age, but for that time, it was a different time, and you take all of that into account, right? But here, they've taken a property that's beloved by so many of us that experience that, and they've almost made it new. Yeah. And so exciting. Yeah. I mean, I really, from start to finish, even in the quiet moments in this film, was just completely enthralled.
Yeah.
I did not lose interest once, although I have to apologize to my family because my brother had to stop by and we had to pause the film. So I apologize to everyone for that, for the pause, the extended pause there. But that aside, this is a movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat. That is very well done. That is obviously a love letter to the past, but also a hello to the future and hopefully future fans and maybe more of this. I mean, I'd love to see the Predator in like the French Revolution, or like, I never would have thought, you know what I mean? Like that this would be a thing, right?
Use the Predator as a mechanism for telling history.
Yeah, why not? He's always been there, kind of like scoping the landscape and being like, brah, come on, let's dance.
They've been doing it with vampires. I might as well use a Predator.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, make the Predator the new vampire, right? Yeah. I mean, that's hella interesting to me. I never, if you had told me, oh, there's a Predator movie in the Comanche Nation in 1719, I'd have been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
but it works.
I remember, and the thing that was funny, I remember when this first sort of got previewed, people, they basically were hiding the fact that it was a Predator movie. Like they just thought, oh, it's some movie called Prey about, a girl, I guess going through her rite of passage and becoming a hunter or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I heard an interview with the director and he said that they were trying to keep this a secret for so long.
Yeah. I mean, I think they succeeded for a little while. I mean, eventually it got out. It's hard to keep secrets. Yeah. Especially with the internet.
Yeah.
And then once people realize, oh yeah, okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And now it came out and it's better than I ever imagined it to be.
And I've not heard one bad thing about this film. Yeah. And you can't really say anything bad about this film. It really is just a treat.
Yeah.
And I liked even like the shots overhead when you're looking at the landscape. I was thinking about like the beginning of Green Room, how like these overhead shots of like how vast and big the country is, right? And green and whatever. And you see a lot of that here. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. The Revenant is beautiful. But that's also like a nature just kicking Leonardo DiCaprio in the balls repeatedly. But yeah, so I mean, I got a lot of that here too, but it's different. It's like its own. This is its own thing, and it's just so exciting to see that. And I think you and I have seen a lot of things that have been like recycled from previous things. Like I think about that West Side Story movie that Steven Spielberg made, and it's like that was a huge disappointment because it didn't make the film better. It didn't offer anything new. I mean, I'm glad that the actress won an Academy Award for supporting actress, but it didn't, I don't know. It just, it felt very lackluster to me.
Yeah, I think I said it when we reviewed that. It was like, all you've basically done is make a movie that's going to piss off the people who like the original movie.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
You're not going to attract new people because it's got old songs and old themes and whatnot. You didn't update any of the songs or themes. You would have been raked over the coals if you dared update any of the songs or themes. And you just were like, hey, here's that thing you loved. I made it better.
But you really didn't.
No, because you're going to just piss off. No, you can't make it better. This is the original's a classic. Well, so that was like a doomed project to begin with. I don't know. I honestly don't understand how anybody thought bankrolling that would have been a great idea. I mean, maybe on paper it's like, oh, Spielberg, what's that story? This is going to be a grand slam.
Yeah.
No, think about it. Really think about it. You're just pissing people off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Spielberg just probably wanted to have a musical in his
He should have made his own musical.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Jaws the musical. He missed his chance. But that is not the case with this film. And I love that this lives in the Predator universe, but it's independent of that too. Because you can watch this film and be fine.
Yeah, well, the thing that's nice
about story.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's nice about the Predator thing is the Predator is it's almost like the Predator's the MacGuffin. It's used for the film, and that's it. It's really about watching this character survive.
Right.
And it only works if you really, really care about the character. And you really care about Naru.
Yes, absolutely. They
succeeded where so many of these other movies have failed because it was like, oh yeah, we have an interesting character, but we don't really care about that. We just want blood and gore and
special effects.
Maybe if we could throw a little cheesecake in there for the little kids or little boys to
masturbate too.
Yeah, masturbate.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. But so the thing that I wanted to address that I don't know is if I can't even talk. The spoiler is there's the scene where she goes back to the camp to save the dog or to get the dog. And then the guy who was like the translator comes and he obviously got his leg
messed up,
chopped or his lower leg chopped because of the traps. And she heals him, whatever. And then the Predator comes to the encampment and he pretends to be dead. Mm-hmm. But when the Predator steps on him, he obviously screams in pain. He didn't have a weapon on him, and yet the Predator killed him. He wasn't technically a threat.
He wasn't a threat, but he was a threat when he was attacking the Predator.
So he just remembered it was like...
He followed... Yeah, I mean, you see the blood trail. The Predator, it's not like as though, okay, I cut your leg off and you crawled away. He's getting that trophy. He's going to finish the job. So if you attacked him, you were pretty much marked. That's it. He was marked. I mean, his leg was missing.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I was like, because in the Schwarzenegger one, if you weren't armed, he wasn't coming for you.
Right. But as soon as you had a gun, that was it. You were screwed.
But he didn't. Not when he's on the floor.
But he did have a gun at one
previously.
Point.
Okay.
In fact, he gave it to Naru.
What's her name? Yeah.
As soon as the Predator knew, okay, this is one of the guys that I'm killing, it doesn't matter if the guy ran away. He's going to kill him.
Okay. All right. That was the only thing that, I was like, oh, is that kind of still part of the canon? Because...
They were pretty faithful to the whole he's not going to attack people that aren't a threat to him. Mm-hmm. But that guy was a threat, and he lost the leg.
Mm-hmm. And he followed the blood trail.
He followed it back to the camp. So that guy... And he was just looking around. He thought he was dead. But stepping on him made him scream, and that was whoosh.
Yeah, I loved everything about this film. I loved that they kept it a secret. I did not know that, by the way.
What?
That they were keeping this a secret. And I heard an interview with the director, Dan, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I remember when they first started talking about the trailer for that, they were like, oh, this guy released a teaser or something, and everybody was like, oh, it looks really good. But nobody knew that it was a Predator movie.
Yeah.
And then later on, it came out that that footage we saw, a lot of people are saying that it's actually a secret Predator movie.
Kudos to Hulu for investing in this project. Money very well spent. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I would have expected to see in a theater.
Yes.
But I'm kind of glad because if it was in a theater, it definitely would have gotten terrible marketing and whatnot. Or
I didn't see any marketing for this film except for that one time we saw a commercial and I was like, oh, they did a commercial for Prey?
I've seen this was strange for me because I actually did see commercials for this one.
I don't remember seeing them at all. And where have I been?
Normally I don't see any ads for a specific Hulu property. I've seen ads for Hulu.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we have this,
The Office,
and this.
Or whatever.
but I've never actually seen just a Hulu original and then they show an ad for just a specific thing. Like I never saw an ad for Fresh.
Right. No, never.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw it on the
when
main page, and we were like,
around.
oh, that looks interesting, and it's got Bucky in it. And same thing with like Only Murders. Like I came late to that party.
I mean, Only Murders I've heard about, but like I said, I don't think it's.
I've never seen it advertised.
I don't think I ever saw anything where it was just they were talking about Only Murders. It's always been part of.
This is what we can offer on
see
Hulu.
This.
Yeah, that's weird. And I wonder how like the success of this film is measured, because again, it's on streaming. Is it by the downloads?
I gotta be honest. I don't know how any of these streaming services measure the success of anything. They say, oh, it's the most streamed thing, but
like Stranger Things, right?
Yeah,
right.
So I guess they have numbers. They never really release anything.
Right. It just seems like a strange way to make money. I doubt people are just buying a subscription to Hulu just to watch Prey.
Maybe that's how they measure the number of new subscriptions when something comes out, sort of like multiplied or compared to the number of times it's streamed.
Maybe.
I gotta be honest. I don't know. The whole concept of like ratings and whatnot have always kind of like baffled me, because like they're like Nielsen. It's like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah.
That have these Nielsen boxes that are making such grand successes out of such shit
shows.
Yeah.
I'll never understand the appeal of Friends.
It's like, okay, we're gonna give Nielsen boxes to everybody who's just satisfied with the most lowest common denominator garbage, and now we're just ruled by freaking reality TV to the point where they're probably going to just ravage HBO Max and make it like everything's Discovery Plus. And instead of interesting programming, it's just going to be like 90 Day Fiancé and
Property Brothers
and F Boy Island or whatever the hell that other shit is.
That's such a shame. That's such a shame. Yeah, I mean, if the signs are what they appear to be, HBO Max isn't long for this world.
I'm hoping it's just we're just hearing the people who are downbeat and they're being extremely loud about it right now. And good. I'm glad you're being loud about it. Hopefully they listen to you. But it's depressing.
Absolutely. To lose all of that and then to just, I get that the debts have to be paid.
It's not lost yet, but I worry.
Yeah.
And these people have me worried because they're very loud. And they're on the internet, and like I said, hopefully it's another case of the empty can being the loudest.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. But that's not the case here. And honestly, Hulu is a contender. They've got some fun stuff on there. We saw that Jack Quaid film.
Yeah,
that was really good, cute. Too. Yeah, and what else have we?
Fresh was good.
Fresh was amazing.
Plus, like just bizarre foreign film, like those Mads Mikkelsen
movies that we were on for a while. Yeah.
Only Murders.
I mean, not a film, but still quality entertainment. Very fun.
Very fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm on that couch every Tuesday.
Yeah, that's become like appointment TV. That show.
Yeah, which is kind of fun because it's like that hasn't been a thing for a long time,
it's like
right?
A throwback. Yeah. Well, I think they're trying to find that what makes people happier, the big glut or like the super binge or the weekly.
I don't know. It's tough because it's like I appreciate being able to watch all of Stranger Things and then having time to kind of digest. Well, no, not in that case, but just being able to get it out of the way so that I can then talk about it with you or the kids. Whereas something like this, you kind of have to digest it. You have to, or something like Only Murders, you have to digest it. You have to wait till next week. It's excruciating sometimes because it's like, and they always, was that the show? Wait, what was the show that they always ended on a high point? And we were like, what? Yeah, Gangs of London?
Only Murders was like that for a while. Gangs of London we're kind of just binging. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that thing was released in like the 2020s, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each side has its pros and cons.
True.
I think when you release it weekly, I think there is definitely a lot more buzz because you have that cycle of just people speculating.
Right.
Whereas And depending on how many episodes, say 10 episodes, you have the 10 cycles of speculation.
Right.
Whereas if it's released all at once, everybody does their reaction videos, they do their spoiler videos, they do their Easter egg videos, and you get like maybe a couple of weeks out of that, if that, and then it's done and everybody's forgot about it until
Moves
the next
thing.
season.
Well, I think but that's also how we function as a society, don't you think?
But is that good?
I don't know.
It's become very disposable.
I think a lot of things have become disposable, unfortunately.
Right, but what I'm saying is like you have like a really good show, but the show ends up becoming more disposable. Whereas if you spread it out over a certain amount of time, people talk about it more.
Right,
they
you're
break
building
it
it
down
up.
more. Like each episode is getting those three things, those three types of social media analysis, YouTube channel content that I talked about. It's better for the content providers as well because they get more content to pump out. But sometimes you just want to sit and watch something, and sometimes it's hard. You're like, okay, well, it's coming out weekly. I'll just wait. You can't wait because you open up your phone and it's
people
just like people
are
enraged that Johnny's dead on this show, and you're like, Johnny's dead.
Yeah,
you're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I agree with you. I appreciate both. I appreciate being able to binge, although sometimes it's like hella. Like, what did we binge? Paper Girls.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, we got to go to bed now.
Yeah.
So we finished it the following day, but it was like, that was good too. Mm-hmm. This is in a golden age for entertainment.
There's a lot of stuff to watch.
There is too much to watch. Anyway, so getting back to this, you gave it what? A 9.5?
Yeah.
Or 9.75? No, 9.5, right?
9.5.
I'm going to give it a perfect 10. If you have Hulu, get on your couch and go watch Prey. Currently streaming on the service. It is amazing. Amazing. You will not be disappointed from start to finish.
Even if you don't like
and even
you don't
if you've
know
never
about
seen
or you
the
don't
first
care about
Predator,
the Predator franchise, watch this. It's just
anyway.
a good movie.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is about the hero's journey. Naru, Amber Midthunder is just amazing. Thank you, Dan Trachtenberg, for just amazing storytelling. Again, 2022, rated R, 1 hour, 39 minutes. It's on Hulu. Go check it out. And that is it from us. And we will bid you all
a good night.
A good